Level up with the new AAA Commanders MVP membership. Get all the benefits of AAA plus exclusive experiences, discounts, and tickets. Already a AAA member? Upgrade for free at AAA.com/commanders. Hey, babies, hey, babies, hey, babies. Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I slept like a baby last night, Callow. I'm a day away, I think, from surviving night one of many nights, the million nights of the season that we get this year in 2025.
I mean, you do get an extra night, to rest up for Monday Night Football. So, I mean, it's a give and take for us, that have to work in the business on these types of weeks, because you and we're used to getting some content starting tomorrow, and that doesn't happen. We got to stretch things for the next couple of days, essentially.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we do. I will start with this. I'll get into the Commanders in a minute, but I do want to start with Duval. How about them, huh? That's a big win for them last night. That's pretty good.
I was on this on my show by the time I was talking about it around 4 or 5 o'clock yesterday. I picked the Jags to win. And you know how I feel about the Jags. You know how I feel about them. I was just thinking Monday night, the vibes are good. He's got them playing pretty well. Chiefs aren't who we think they are as of late. I just kind of liked the vibes for the Jags going. And yeah, it took a 99-yard interception return for a touchdown to get them going. But the Jags, pretty impressive in my opinion. And by the way, Trevor Lawrence's touchdown, the most no, yes play maybe of all time. I mean, that was Will Levis-esque tripping backwards, getting the foot stepped on. That was an amazing finish to the game.
My Archer scolded me last night because I was Trevor hating a little bit, and I'm like,
probably rubbing off from me.
Second delay of game penalty, and like he's just not getting the ball out fast enough. He's just kind of not seeing it. Travis Hunter made a great catch last night, and I give him credit, he made a tremendous throw on that one that led to what ended up being the game-winning drive. But they're like going backwards, and I'm like, I was just Trevor hating the whole time. And then, of course, my wife sitting there explaining she doesn't know he was the number 1 overall pick, that he'd never lost a game in his life, and the NFL's a much different experience for him. And I was just going through the whole thing because she's like, who's this guy? So I was going through the whole thing with him. And I'm like, he was supposed to be a surefire, can't miss, going to be incredible quarterback. And he's turned out to be good, not great. And I'm like, and here are the reasons why. And I'm going through all this stuff. And I'm like, I can't even get around to Urban Meyer. We don't have time. I don't have time to do all that. I just don't. But I was kind of outwardly, when he got the delay game again, I'm like, all right. I can't help myself. I'm just blurting out loud. I'm like, this guy. And then Archer's like, give him his moment. Let him have his moment here. So he chided me last night for that. As for the Chiefs, listen to their schedule, okay, now at 2-3, because I trust they'll be fine. They'll end up making the playoffs and maybe still even win the division, but listen to their schedule here. 3 straight home games, but it's Lions, Raiders, Commanders Monday night in a few weeks. Then they go at Bills, at Broncos, Colts home, which as of this week feels like a very different game than it would have when the schedule came out. That's a lot of playoff teams that they're playing over the next 6 weeks or so. Every single one of these games is going to be close because you can't blow them out. It's not I don't see them going full Ravens and falling off and having a 2-3 weeks where they get beat 34-10 for whatever reason. But it's dicey for the first time in a while. It is real dicey for them at 2-3 with a schedule that is loaded with playoff teams.
Not only that, last night, that interception return is the difference maker for winning and losing that game. I mean, that flips a game on its head. The Chiefs usually don't make those types of mistakes. They did yesterday. It's, we talked about them last year. They were the same team that they were last year. They were just winning at the last second every single game. Guess what? It's not happening. Something we've talked about with Washington here, about with what happened last year heading into this year. Now it's just teetering the other way. The funny part is, you could still, not unlike what we talked about with Jaden Daniels here in Washington, Mahomes, you still line him up against anybody in the league, and you're still taking him any day of the week, essentially. So it's still just such a cheat code that the roster might not be what it was not even 2 years ago of what it was, and yet you still would take him over just about everyone in the league at this point. And so it's a cheat code that they can still show up. But you at least have a team like the Jags that makes that jump over them. That doesn't feel good. That never is good for team morale when a team like that beats you.
The stat I think they showed last night was they were 11-0 in one-score games last year, and this year that would now be 0-3. It would be 0-3 in one-score games now after the loss last night. And, like this flips up and down. I did a whole thing on it because, obviously it became a big story for us, for how many games we won at the last second, let alone one-score games a year ago. We were in like 13 of them. We're all like one-score games, and we won the majority of them. But I went through and looked at the teams that had consistently made the playoffs: the Bills, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Eagles, Tampa Bay. I went and looked at them, over the last 4 or 5 years. And that number fluctuates with them every single year. Some years they win a bunch of close games. Some years they don't win a bunch of close games. Some years they're just kind of around 500. It fluctuates with the amount of close games. The difference between the ones who end up making the playoffs every year and making runs at the Super Bowl every year are in the not close games. They're blowing people out. They're not losing any of those. They're winning all of those. And then the chips fall where they may in the one-score games, and that is the difference between them going 10-7 and 12-5 or better. That's what the difference is between the two of them. And so this is where the Chiefs part's tricky, because you look at their schedule right now and you go, there's no way they're not in one-score games with all of those teams because of who they're playing, with maybe the exception of the Raiders in a couple of weeks. But they actually traditionally have had a lot of close games with them in recent years. Division team. The Raiders don't look very good right now, so that may flip upside down. So we'll see. The Ravens, we'll see. The Bengals look finished. The Chiefs now are wonky at best. Fortunately for them, not unlike the Ravens, nobody's running away in their division. And because it looks like the Raiders are weak, and now the Chargers are so marginalized by injuries that their record may come back to earth, the Chiefs may be the same thing where the Ravens are, where if they can get hot at the right time, they might win a division with a record you wouldn't expect them to win the division with. Just get to 10 or maybe 11 and you'll be able to do it. And I buy with Mahomes and them that they will be able to do it. But with their schedule this way, with the Ravens, if the injuries they have and the way that they're playing, they're getting killed by people, which is really unusual. And Burrow's out. And the Bills, the last couple of weeks, I'm sure they'll be fine, but just lost at home, didn't really blow out the Saints, kind of hung around with them a little bit. The AFC feels really upside down, really, really, really upside down. And I know we're only 5 weeks in, and after the first month, you just kind of never know. And things typically settle and they turn back in the direction you think they're going to turn. But this is turning into a really weird year over there right now.
I wouldn't even say it's just the AFC. It's the parity across the board right now. I think I said to you yesterday, the only thing that we know through the first 5 weeks of the season is we know nothing because of just how everything's gone. Yeah, the Eagles are good, but they just dropped one. Yes, the Colts are good, but we kind of have to believe it to see it for a little bit longer. The AFC, it kind of feels like it's one of those situations where it's a little topsy-turvy, but not everyone's going to survive. I think that's where I'm going with right here. It looks like the Ravens, it does look like they're kind of finished, but you never know because of just how much parity there is right now.
I'm not digging their grave yet because they've been in it too many times. And if Lamar comes back healthy, I would assume that their record will end up being fine.
And let me know who's going to step up and take their spot too. I don't trust anybody to still be good for the rest of the season.
It's not the Bengals or the Browns. It's not the Raiders. It's not going to be Tennessee. It's not going to be the Dolphins. It's not going to be the Jets. There's actually a bunch of teams in the AFC that have basically eliminated themselves already.
That's also why that Texans loss, I think, hurts way more than we think. Because if they're fighting for a wild card spot, the Texans could very well be one of those last teams. I wasn't ready to call it for Houston by any means. And trust me, 40 points is 40 points. I don't care who you're playing in this league. So that's what I'm saying. Who's going to step up and kind of take that last spot? Is it Houston? Is it someone, is it someone else in the AFC West that if the Chiefs don't win the division, is it the Broncos? Something like that. It just feels like there's going to be one or two swap outs, but it's going to be a major swap out because of the way things are going and teams won't be able to, kind of catch up and then hold those leads at the end anyways.
I will believe it when I see it, but the path is wide open for either Jacksonville or Indianapolis to be the 1 seed.
Yep.
Not just the 1 seed. That's what the path is. If Baltimore's going to be this, And I would assume that Pittsburgh will have the typical record they have, 9-8, 10-7, maybe a little bit better than that because their division's down. If they win their division games, then maybe they'll be in line for it. And then either one of them, if they could both keep up this pace, are going to have a shot at that because one of them's going to probably win the division. The other one's probably going to be a wild card. One of them's got a shot at that. If it ends up being Buffalo, this better be their year. If they're going to get the 1 seed with those teams down, Cincinnati doesn't make the playoffs at all. The Ravens might not make the playoffs at all. The Chiefs come in as a wild card, and they may not even have to play them this year in the playoffs. This better be it for them, or it could be the weirdest year ever. The Colts or Jaguars are the 1 seed this year. That's where it's trending towards right now.
This screams, just because of the way that you're talking to, that the trade deadline should be a little bit crazier than even normal.
I agree.
That some
over
team,
there for sure.
That some team in the AFC, probably the Bills or probably the Chiefs too, are going to be in on some giving up a haul, maybe not a haul, but more than we're used to when it comes to the trade deadline, because I think some teams are going to want to really go for it. I think maybe even a team like the Jags, I know they gave up a bunch of draft capital already for Hunter, but that's where I think it's going to get a little chaotic because I think they're going to see that road that you're talking about and try to make a move and get an upper hand.
Yeah, and this also just validates what I thought going in. The depth of the NFC is way, way, way higher than the depth of the AFC. Way, way, way higher because the Ravens should be buried. The Chiefs should be in trouble, but they're not. They're not because the AFC depth isn't high enough. There's 5 or 6 teams that nobody would buy are going to make the playoffs at all in week 5. They're not being surprising at all at this point. So that's why I'm not burying the Chiefs or the Ravens yet, especially not the Chiefs. They very easily, the Ravens have so many injuries and Lamar's hurt that if this keeps going this way, they're going to get into a hole they can't get out of. The Chiefs, show me the time when they're out of it because they're not. And Mahomes, again, magical outside of the crazy interception he threw for that 99-yard return from – I couldn't believe that stat, too, when I saw that. That guy is a linebacker. He has 4 picks already.
Yeah.
It was 4? I was 4? What linebacker has 4 interceptions in any season? What are you talking about, 4?
On the AFC side, too, though, I think what's probably most shocking right now is what are the 4 rubber stamps, essentially? It's those top 4 quarterbacks. It is Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, and Burrow. Well, 2 of those 4 teams, they're in the same division, and they are teetering on the wrong side. And I know the Ravens aren't finished, like you just said, but the hierarchy is already changed. It was changed the second Burrow went down, and then Lamar went down, and it really changed again because they might not be able to catch up. Here's what's funny, too, about the Ravens and Lamar. It's not even really the offense's fault, really, about the Ravens' record. I know they have had timely turnovers, like Henry fumbled in those first couple of games, whatever, but it's that defense that I'm actually worried about in Baltimore. So they might get Lamar back and it might not fix itself. I think that's where the AFC's really topsy-turvy is because the top tier, a couple of those top tiers, are already starting to topple down, and we're only through the first 5 weeks.
I mean, the Chiefs with the schedule they have in the coming weeks, even though they're pretty healthy, still I know they've had a lot of problems at the skill positions, but pretty healthy. Unlike Baltimore, Baltimore is going to have to navigate this and get out of it. I still don't see a path for Baltimore to get back to a 1 seed situation. So that means Aaron Rodgers is probably going to have a home game in the playoffs, which would be fun, cool, and a great storyline, and see what kind of weird stuff he says that week. We do have a path to either Jacksonville or Indianapolis, whichever one has staying power, to be in the conversation about something like that. They're definitively going to be a division winner and then stay in the conversation of being something like that. So the Bills, the road is so wide open for them as opposed to any other year where there's just so many potholes along the way, but it's so wide open for them. We're going to have we're going to have 1 or 2 weird division winners this year and maybe some unusual wild cards. This is a really strange year over there, a really, really, really strange year. And I will believe it when I see it that the Chiefs are buried because they're not, but their schedule is brutal and they're off to the wrong start here. The next 3 are all at home, but 2 of them are Lions and us. So I don't care how their defense plays. It ain't going to cut it scoring 20 points against Detroit. You'll lose. So they fall to 2-4, something like that. Well. Like the door is wide open. All right.
Who did you say? Who'd you say again for the Chiefs? Who are the next two?
Detroit, Raiders, Washington, all at home.
Okay. All right. Okay. So it's funny.
They easily are 2-4 after they very easily could be 2-4 after this weekend.
So what's funny about that too is you do have to factor in the Dan Campbell. What do they call it? The Honolulu flu. That even if they beat the Lions, they're softened up for the Raiders. That's not a good mix either. Like that's a whole entire thing these days, that the Lions have the opponents that the Lions play, they like lose more than any other opponent the week after they play them. So that's also a softening up of what's happening there too. So I'm just tossing that out there too. If you think the Raiders game is
well, I mean, then what are we? We give people Commander COVID because the Packers beat us and then lost to Cleveland the next week. The Chargers have walked out of this game with a ton more injuries. They already had a bunch of injuries. Hampton's out. They lost 2 offensive linemen again. Like they walked out of it with a bunch of injuries as well. So maybe we're giving the Commander COVID out to people.
I would say this: the Lions have 2 years of track record. We don't have much. So I'm just throwing that out there that they actually have a track record of it.
Well, but I'll give old DQ some credit. Speed and violence, my friends. Speed and violence.
Speed and violence. I'm there.
There are some things that have always worked in this league, no matter what. Speed and violence are 2 of them. Yeah. That works for you. Bill obviously had his breakout. I am expecting him to be the NFC Rookie of the Week. I can't imagine he wouldn't be, off of getting 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. The team is starting to pump him up a little bit. They're putting out some social media clips.
Finally.
Calling him Bill Nye the Science Guy. They were doing that stuff with him today. So they had some fun on social media with him. So they've been waiting. They've been kind of keeping him under the radar. All the fantasy people were on it in the summer. They were like, oh my God, it's going to be Bill. And I remember I was laughing at them when they put him 4th on the depth chart and everybody was like freaking out because they used a 3rd round pick on him. And I'm like, we're running back by committee. I think if Eckler was still here, I actually think it would stay that way, even off of this. But he's been unleashed. And I think I will be surprised. I still think committee happens here. But I'll be surprised if we're going backwards at all, unless they're concerned about wear and tear over the course of a season. But I think his touches, finally, we've reached the point where it's kind of undeniable that he needs to get the ball more than the other backs.
Well, it's also undeniable that this offense just needs weapons and contributors at the moment. And he's the best one. He and Debo are clearly the 2 best weapons that this offense has. And now it's becoming apparent. You're looking at the stats and you're like, he's that good with only that amount of carries. It's now just getting to be a point where this happens in like baseball sometimes. We're like, okay, the stats are too good to ignore here. You got to kind of just play the guy every single day. That's what Bill has now turned into. It's turned into a situation of he's only 4th in the league in rushing with a 3rd less carries than the top couple of guys. You should probably start handing him the ball a little bit more. So I'm with you. You can't really hide him anymore as well. And he's also, honestly, he warrants the attention. He's been that damn good running the ball as well.
He has. So he'll get a lot of attention this week. And then this week has gotten really, I've been looking forward to this one all year because they're not, I wouldn't call the Bears a rival yet.
I would absolutely call it a rival.
Okay. All right. See,
we play them every year, dude.
This is, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but like, Dallas is next week. Dallas was always one of these juiced up, and it always is really juiced up week. But there's something about what's going on between these 2 organizations now that it just feels like there's an added level to this. They've played each other the last couple of years in a row. They've played each other a lot over the last few years. They're going to be connected because they hired Ben Johnson. They're connected because of Caleb and Jaden. We're connected because of a Hail Mary. We're connected because their fan base gets real triggered real fast about we made the right pick. We know we made the right pick, all of that stuff. And we're sitting there going, we're good, man. Hopefully Caleb has a nice career, except when he plays us, but we're good over here. We don't need to engage in the debate with you. But it's all added up to, I don't know, man. This is up there for me of I can't wait for Bears week all of a sudden. Like, I can't believe I'm saying that, but like, I think we're there where this is up there amongst one of my most anticipated, and I think what's going to be fun weeks getting ready for a game.
You said all that. You didn't even mention Caleb from here as well. So
Right.
That's another layer on top of all of that. What I would say too, though, is it's also throw in a giant, like overhang of two historic franchises that have always had some blows against each other, right? But what I would add on top of that is there's like the Ron game from 2 years ago where they crushed the Commanders on Thursday night, or was it Thursday night or Monday night? Whatever it was. They got destroyed, remember? And we were like, I didn't think we were going to be.
The Bears were winless. The Bears were winless, and that happened. And I remember going, that's it. Like, you're not coming back from it. That's it.
So there are these weird moments where like each franchise thinks they're better than the other, and the other one slaps them back down to their own level. So there's this weird kind of almost like middle class rival with both of them too, where every time they seem to be rising, they faced each other, and the unexpected happens. I would absolutely call it a rivalry, mainly because of how their fans started acting last year. And that we've talked about it at length, that week was so weird, that they were insecure about Caleb not being as good as Jaden. I'm here to tell you it's already starting again. Bears fans are already saying Caleb's better than Jaden this year. Duh, because he's missed 2 games and they're not realizing that. But it's already starting again this week, and all I can say is I thought you guys learned your lesson last year, but they haven't, and so I am absolutely calling it a rivalry, mainly because I hate them just as much as some of the NFC East teams at this point. So yeah, I'm absolutely calling it a rivalry.
Yeah, I think so too, and they are both in a very similar spot where they need to leapfrog real contending type teams. For Washington, they got to get by Philadelphia, team that's been in the playoffs practically every year, just won the Super Bowl. And then for Chicago, it's a couple of them, but specifically Detroit, who they now need to try to catch and leapfrog. So we're both kind of in a similar spot there too, where I could see the path where both do that in the next couple of years as the rosters change and as Jaden and Caleb get more experience and as their coaches get more entrenched. Like, I could see that happening where this is the building blocks of first of 2 every year between these two teams for a good couple of years. So I think that's why, like, I feel it coming. It's got every touch point you want. Number 1 pick versus number 2 pick. The number 1 pick is from here. The coach who actually had the gall to text our ownership and tell them don't show up to the interview. Like, it's got so much to it that it really has become and is heading towards, whether they're both middle to upper middle class to then contenders, to potentially both being contenders at the same time. It's kind of got it all. And now we got a profiled game between the two. I circled this one from the get-go. I can't wait for that one just to see what it looks like this year.
This was one of the games where even when we knew their opponents, we all knew, that's going to be a Sunday nighter, Monday nighter, or a Thursday nighter because of what happened last year and all the things leading up to it. That is also, remember, we used to joke about this too with this team when they play each other, where they'd throw them on Monday night and both teams sucked, but we'd be like, well, it's Washington and Chicago. You know you're going to pop a huge rating no matter what. I remember joking about that with you of like, why do they keep putting us on primetime? And it's because of the market. Like, remember the game, what was it now, 3 years ago when Wentz, it was another Thursday nighter between those two. It was in Chicago.
Yes.
Remember Wentz hurt his finger? Like,
and they got to stop on like the 1-inch line to win the game.
And so
that's where Al Michaels told the world Dan Snyder needed to go.
Yes. So like, that's what I'm getting at here too, is like, for some reason, the league, because of the markets, I guess, keeps putting them on prime time. And all of a sudden the games start actually being kind of good too. So I think there's just so many layers to this. Yes, it's absolutely a rivalry, mainly too because of the history between the two.
Yeah, I agree. All right, I'll get to the stuff tomorrow. There's already think pieces again about Jaden versus Caleb and whether the Bears drafted the right guy, which is always the best. That's bane of their existence. They're gonna have to live with. And then Tyreek Stevenson did a podcast with one of his teammates and talked about what he did before the Hail Mary happened. So I'm going to have to save that, though. I'll save that. We'll get to that later this week, and I'll talk about it tomorrow. If you are listening to the radio show or the podcast, you're going to hear a segment from the booth review. If you're on YouTube, we'll be right back. Bram Watch the Show, ESPN 630, the Sports Capital. Commanders fans, this is for you. Level up with the new AAA Commanders MVP membership. Get all the benefits of AAA like 24/7 roadside assistance plus 15% off Commanders gear at the online pro shop. Chances to win game tickets, access to exclusive MVP events, and unforgettable experiences. Already a AAA member? Add the Commanders MVP upgrade free. Head to AAA.com/Commanders to join the squad and put your fandom in drive. All right, welcome back. A couple quick NFL stories. One, your guy, Gannon, had to apologize for freaking out on Amari DeMarcado for good reason. The dude did the thing that nobody should ever do. Drop the ball as you're walking into the end zone before you cross the goal line. It was one of two bizarre whacked out plays that allowed Tennessee to win a game they had no business winning. That and the crazy interception, then fumble turns into touchdown for Tennessee. So that was plain luck that Tennessee got that. This one, I understand why the coach flipped out. It was a little much, but considering like how we made fun of him the second he got the job because of how strange he was and the way he interacted, I was not surprised to see a freak out by him.
As the kids say, that's a valid crash out with that one right there. That's a valid crash out because you've seen a highlight at some point in your life where the guy drops the ball before the end zone. Just hold on to the damn thing and
This is not new.
Don't let it go till you're in the back of the end zone. I think the most classic one of my generation is the Deshaun Jackson one, where Deshaun Jackson drops it in Dallas and it goes out of the end zone and they end up losing that game. I'm always baffled when it does happen. Valid crash out by Gannon on that one.
Yes.
For sure.
The other one, which I didn't get to yesterday because I didn't have time for it, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, is I don't think we really know what happened with Mark Sanchez at all at this point. Like, that story, I don't know that we're ever going to find out the total truth of what's going on there. All I can say is the way it read and the conversations I was having was every single person was like, that ain't tequila. That's something else. That's where everybody landed on it. And so I'm waiting, I guess, to hear from him, or this might be one of those, we may not hear from him again because this one seems really bad. The truck driver who's involved is older. And when I heard he initially had to pepper spray him, and that didn't stop him. And I don't even know what it's about. You've lost me. So I don't know what this is or what's going on. I just hope he's well and of sound mind because the whole thing sounds completely bonkers.
I mean, I saw yesterday that the charge that's going to be brought upon him is a felony. It carries 1 to 5 or 1 to 7 years in prison. I think I saw as well. And like, you know how this works. That doesn't just get tossed out there to get tossed out there. That means they're legitimately going to go after him for something that happened there. And I'm with you. It's never good when like one detail comes out that he's in the hospital and then it's that there was an altercation and then it's police are arresting him at the hospital. Like when those details come out in those types of waves, that's never good. And I'm with you. I don't think we're ever going to get the full story because there's probably money being thrown around of people to be quiet at this point. So
probably.
Probably not going to see Mark on any broadcast for a while, I think.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, but I don't think so. All right, real quick. Capitals don't open tonight, but the NHL does. Capitals get the Bruins where they'll open their season. That'll be tomorrow night. Home, right? They're home tomorrow night, right?
Yep.
Okay, but the new season begins. The champs already took a big hit. They lost one of their best players in preseason to an injury. I did see Connor McDavid did sign a short-term extension which I actually thought was like, wow, like he actually took less than he had to. He gave him 2 more years. So he's got this year and 2 more years, took a discount. So it gets rid of the whole storyline. Is he going to be traded? Where is he going to go? So that removes that. And basically, God, did he do right by them to go, okay, give me the team I can win with. And frankly, it's not like they haven't been in the cup final 2 years in a row anyway. Like people seem to forget that part, that they've been right there to win it. So that storyline's over with. I don't know. What do you think? Like what stands out as the season opens tonight?
I think one, I was going to start with that the biggest overhanging story of Connor McDavid, of will he stay or won't he, that got squashed yesterday with that deal. To your point too, he took less money. And what I do like is his whole thing has been, I want to win. The Oilers have lost to the best team in the entire league 2 years in a row. You can't really get too much better than that. I actually like this for McDavid, and it gives Edmonton a sense of urgency of we need to keep acquiring talent over these next 2 years. So I will say that Edmonton should be right there. I know Florida lost, a major piece, in preseason, but come talk to me when they're not winning. I'll go to here locally to the Caps, though. The Caps, once again, are not being lauded by any of the major brass of the NHL of being kind of good again. And I know they didn't make too many moves this offseason. They kind of made all of their moves last offseason, but they were the best team in the East last year. They get a year older, but it's not the same core. I don't know. I just feel like the Caps are once again flying under the radar, even though they were the 1 seed last year. So I would just say this: if you're not hearing much on the Caps, you will by halfway through the season.
Yeah, I agree. All right, and we'll do a preview of their season tomorrow as they get set to open against Boston. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you then. Bram Watch the Show, ESPN 630, the Sports Capital. And before you go, Commanders fans, this is for you. Level up with the new AAA Commanders MVP membership. Get all the benefits of AAA, like 24/7 roadside assistance, plus 15% off Commanders gear at the online pro shop, chances to win game tickets, access to exclusive MVP events, and unforgettable experiences. If you're already a AAA member, you can add the Commanders MVP upgrade free. Head to AAA.com/Commanders to join the squad and put your fandom in drive.